Hello, everyone. I thought it might be fun to take a look at the recent trailer and gameplay demo of the fourth Dragon Age game, which is now known as Dragon Age The Veilguard. The series holds a special place on this channel because Dragon Age Inquisition, the third game, was the very first Fast Impressions video. And if you'll recall from that video, if you have seen it, I wasn't a huge fan. I was pretty disappointed with the game. And I didn't expect it to take 10 years almost for them to make the fourth game, but BioWare has become a pretty turbulent company in the time since the release of Inquisition. But we're here now. The game's gone through some name changes. It was canceled at least once and rebooted. And the game we have is the game that we're going to get. And I figured, yeah, let's take a look at it. So I'm about to watch the trailer that came out, and then after that I'm going to watch the gameplay demo video, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So here we go. Alright, so we're back. I guess we'll start with the trailer. I didn't like this trailer very much. I didn't like the way that it looked visually. The actual character models, graphically, I thought looked fine, but I had issues with the lighting and the color palette. It just looked very strange in certain shots. The darkness, the shadows, it looks unappealing at points, and I'm hoping that's just an issue with the trailer, because I didn't really notice it as much during the gameplay demo. I also just did not really like the general vibe of the trailer. It did not really explain much. They did the corny thing where you have the names of the characters. Didn't like the song. It just did not really get me excited for a new Dragon Age game. I think that Dragon Age trailers in the past have had issues with the tone, where it doesn't match the vibe of the game. So this isn't exactly new, but you really need to figure it out now. Like, this is such a critical time. The series has not had a game for 10 years. I think if I was not familiar with Dragon Age, this trailer would not have sold me on it. So yeah, the trailer did not do it for me. So now we have the gameplay demo. It was about 20 minutes, very early in the game, as they say, and I believe that too, because the level that they chose to show feels very introductory. There's a lot of walking and talking, looking at stuff. It's not very interactive, and that isn't inherently a bad thing in a game, but it isn't a great thing in a gameplay demo, because I think they probably could have cut about 5 minutes from this in favor of more actual gameplay. As for the gameplay, I'll just say that I think it looked okay, but I don't know if I saw enough to really make a judgment call. I was expecting more in this footage. So for instance, at the beginning of it, they show Rook, who I guess that's basically the name of the character you play. They show Rook, and they say he's a level 1 rogue. And my assumption was that throughout this video, they were going to change Rook to the other two classes that the game has, the mage and the warrior. And we were going to get to see a little bit about how all three of these classes play. And that doesn't happen. And that's disappointing, because it is not clear if you can play as characters other than Rook in this game, at least from the demo. Maybe they explained it in a blog post somewhere, but at least right now, I wasn't able to find a blog post claiming that. The other issue that I have is that because this is so early in the game, it does not seem like most of the abilities we have are online yet. My understanding of this game, as I mentioned on Twitter, I think before this video came out, is that in some respects, this game is going to be the Dragon Age equivalent of a Mass Effect title. That seems to be what a lot of the marketing has suggested, is that we're going for much more linear stages, kind of like Mass Effect 2 or 3, but it seems like what we saw here was much more tightly scripted than most of that. But we're going to be doing that, and very combat-focused. I don't have an inherent issue with that. It is going to be a departure, but I do think Dragon Age really needed to change from the third game. The third game was an attempt to go much, much bigger, and it didn't work. I really did not like the open-world zones. I don't think they were done well. Most of them you never even had to go to for the main story. So I'm okay with scaling things back. I think the issue might be that the scale is going to be even smaller than the first game or the second game, and I don't know if that's the right call, but it is hard to tell from this gameplay demo what the true scale of this game is going to be. It could have hub areas to explore, side quests to do. And if those are good, those are good. It could also be completely linear and be fun if the level design is awesome and it just feels really great to play. I was not able to tell from this demo. I think that they picked the rogue class for a reason because it demonstrates agility, dodging, things like that. I think that could be an interesting class to play, where you're very mobile, you've got agile attacks, and it seems like you have some flexibility because you have the bow that you can use, although I don't know how good aiming the bow is going to feel. But what I really wanted to see were the abilities, the talents, the powers, whatever you want to call them. These are normal in a Dragon Age game to have, because otherwise you would just be auto-attacking, and in this game, you're not doing that. Hopefully, the moves that the character was doing on screen, there was some variety in the buttons they were pressing. It's hard to tell from the demo just how much thought is going in to the moveset at times, so I really hope that, maybe we have like light and heavy attacks or something. That would be nice. But I was hoping for a better sense of what kind of things these powers do. And in this demo, the main character has access to exactly one power. So yeah, that didn't feel good. You have one power. It's a demo. You can amp up the character so we can see the cool things that you can do. It also didn't look like the party members had any powers. When they showed the power wheel, which is a thing from Mass Effect that they've just kind of brought in here, it didn't seem like the power wheel you could, maybe it just wasn't unlocked. You could not use your companion's powers. So yeah, we're just kind of neutering ourselves here. I think in a gameplay demo, you gotta show the cool stuff. And there was a big focus on showing the story, showing crazy stuff happening in the sky or whatever, but not enough happening at the player's command. I didn't think the fights looked bad. They looked okay. It was just hard for me to tell how much depth there was. When they showed the battle against the Pride Demon, that looked a little better. You had to dodge and stuff a lot, it seemed. So I was okay with that. I think it looked okay, but I don't know for sure. I have this uncertainty. But I did not dislike the combat. I think that it could be an interesting system. It is a big departure, but I am okay with that. I'm okay with experimenting and trying something new, because it has been a long time. You gotta mix it up. I don't want to play a game that plays exactly like Inquisition 10 years later. I don't want to play a game that plays like the first Dragon Age game combat-wise 10 years later either. So I'm okay with mixing it up. As for the other things, I understand that the parts of this trailer take place in areas of the Dragon Age world that we haven't seen before, but I was a little uncertain visually how much this lined up with the established art style. I don't really know how well this trailer plays to people who aren't familiar with the series, because the dialogue, what they were talking about, the cutscenes they showed, it didn't really grab me. Story-wise, I didn't find anything interesting here, and I think that's mostly because this is a rehash of what we did in the third game. The third game was also about the veil being torn and demons coming into the real world and attacking people. So this game is just that again. I don't know, I'm not interested in that. We already did it once. The demons look different now. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if that means anything. I'm not huge on the designs, but they don't look bad. I just didn't really get much out of that. Visually, it looked okay. Consistency, it's hard to tell. There's the big floating city. Tevinter is not a place that we really ever went to in the games before, so it's okay if things look different, but they look a little more like technologically advanced, and I think that's the area where I'm not sure about, but we'll see. I don't mind a few magic-looking signs or lights, but I don't know if we're going to do like a airship mission or something. That doesn't feel very Dragon Age to me. That's just a prediction, though. I didn't see any airships in this footage. Also, probably worth mentioning the dialogue wheel, which looked very neutered from how it has appeared in other games. I'm not inherently opposed to using the wheel in this day and age. I didn't get the sense that it did much other than flavor. There was a part near the end where maybe the main character was making a choice that mattered. I don't get that sense. I have a feeling it was a choice in appearance only. And if the game is going to be more tightly scripted, you gotta break out of this. Maybe don't have choices if they're not going to do anything. Which is kind of a crazy thing to say about BioWare, but that's an element that just felt very behind at times. The wheel looked simple and didn't seem like there was much going on there. So I'm not sure I feel like we really need that format anymore. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say. I think this game looked okay. I have heard some people saying it looked really bad. I've heard some people saying it looked really good. For me, I'm very much in the middle, which is kind of a boring place to be. I was not disappointed, because my expectations are already low. But I do wish that there was more variety. I'm hoping they will show more videos, because it seems like this game is slated for release later this year. So, yeah, put out more demos with the other classes that show more game complexity, and I'll probably be interested. I don't think I'm going to be playing this game at launch anyway, because I'm going to be waiting for reviews, because if this game launches and it's got really bad technical problems, that's a deal breaker for me. So I'm not going to be rushing out to pick it up, but maybe someday down the line, I will check this out, because I didn't see anything that pissed me off or offended me. The tone of the game was okay. It wasn't super interesting, but it was okay. Tone of the trailer, though, yeah, that turned me off. So hopefully that is not an indicator of things to come. But not at launch. Gonna wait on it. I got a lot of other stuff I would love to get through first. But I think there probably will be a fast impressions type video on this game at some point. If anything, just to continue the tradition. So that's about all I have to say on Dragon Age Veilguard. Let me know what you thought of this demo. It does seem like it's a pretty big topic. I've seen a lot of people weighing in on their thoughts here. And I just figured I would give mine, because quite a few people were interested. Also, I want to thank people who commented on the Final Fantasy XVI video. I was not sure I was going to get as many comments of support or sympathy as I got. I thought my opinion was going against the grain. A lot of people feel similarly or hate the game, so they kind of liked what I was saying. I think that alone there is definitely an indicator that there probably will be a full review of the game at some point. I'm in the early stages of the outline right now. I don't know how long this is going to take. It could be a big project, but I hear you. I would love to do something on that game down the road. But until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Lovely weather, at least where I am. Have a nice one, and peace out.